how vCluster evolved or the way it was designed. So when the GPU workload start coming in, you did not have to go back to the blackboard. It was a natural progression, evolution. So talk a bit about the design of it. You did touch upon that. Was so already the way it was. I'm running short of words. The way it was designed, that it was ready to take on these workloads. So talk about what's new in vCluster and how the way it was designed was ready to take on not only this, and what will be the next wave. It will be ready for that, which we can't even think about what it will be.
Yeah, initially a lot of the use cases were more about giving vClusters. It was a tool for developers, since vCluster is like an app at the end of the day. And so what we see is central IT will give you one cluster, maybe if you're lucky, maybe you get two. But now developers discover vClusters like, well, if I just deploy vCluster, I can get my own cluster. I can deploy 10 of them. IT doesn't even know. It's kind of a shell. I get my own cluster. They don't know. They think they're giving me one. I'm using 10. And so that was like the first use case that made vCluster super powerful, because developers, without asking anyone, they can create clusters for themselves. And that was really the base of this tenancy, the capability of sharing. And so for us was mostly about using that technology and start working below at the layer of infrastructure layer. So all the enhancements are, you probably heard about private nodes and auto nodes. So now you don't need to get IT to configure the cluster for you. vCluster itself can go and provision nodes. It can even go and create VMs. Like for example, on DGX, because you have the problem where you can run just a certain number of pods inside a server. So even if you have a server with 100 gig of RAM, you have maximum of 200 pods that you can run. And if your applications are not as big, you're going to waste a lot of RAMs. So you want to create VMs. So now vCluster can create VMs for you, can segregate it. So in every VM, now you can run 200 pods. So you multiply by the number of VMs that you can create, you can run hundreds and thousands of pods. So, and then I touched upon before, networking. So how do you actually segregate the networking, and how do you move networking from layer 2 and layer 3 between different tenants? So now if you're doing something, I'm doing something, we are not interfere with each other. Or we've seen a lot of things like storage, and you have your data, I don't want to, by mistake, be able to see your data. And then another feature that we added was actually, that is super important, is you want to make sure that your workloads are secure. So we actually introduced a technology called vNode that is creating a layer around the pod that it looks like it is a node, because as you know, there are these container escape, so you can escape from a container and get access to the node. But if your node is a vNode, then it's like you're again trapped inside the vNode, and you cannot do anything to the real node. So that's also something that we did for the GPU workloads. So it's again to make sure that you create this tenancy boundary without using, my love technology. I come from VMware, I was there for 7 years. And funny enough, we were using vCluster at VMware. And when my team told me, oh, we need to use vCluster because it's getting too expensive to run all these clusters, like, how is it going to work? Is it possible? We are VMware. Is there another technology that can do the same? It's like, yeah, it just works. Do they use VMware? No. I'm like, I don't know how it works, but if it works and you don't come and complain with me, go ahead and try it. And they're still using it today. And we used it to create labs, because we have to share labs with hundreds and hundreds of people. And then we use vCluster for that. So it's amazing to see how people find the technology, they find the use for it in all kind of different ways. And you mentioned about what's going to come next. I think it's probably going to be similar. Like I said, Kubernetes ecosystem, they're trying to optimize, they're trying to be more efficient. The AI folks, right now, they have lots of money, so they don't care about being efficient, but eventually they will get there. So vCluster will help with that. next level of evolution for all the AI data centers, when they will need to become efficient. They will need to share more, and that.